There was once a time when a crime in Canada was, robbing a bank, murder, rape, home invasion. Those sort of things were crimes. And you could respect officers for upholding the law. And that's what they were there for. And that's one of the reasons why I said, no, I'm not somebody who just blindly supports police all the time, because they are an arm of the government. And there are times when the government does abuse its power like it is doing now. And no matter what, they're going to enforce that. So no, it's not healthy to just blindly support them. But yes, they have a role to play. They protect. But lately, they're not even doing that. They don't do that. Instead, they are focused on trying to bully the freedom fighters out there in Canada who know that this lockdown is a joke, who know that it's just a tool to become more powerful and to scare people into taking big pharma vaccines. This virus kills less than 1% of people who get it. Sweden never had a lockdown. Japan never had a lockdown. Their population are good. And they're just focused on bullying people who protest, who do reporting, real reporting, like the Rebel News is doing on this issue, and just attacking people who don't wear the mask properly, who don't obey the China virus New World Order. That's all they're good for now. They've become a menace to society, Canadian police, and specifically Toronto police. A menace to society. A menace. They're not even going after, look, we've talked from time to time about Jonathan Yaniv, right? That fool out there in Vancouver who think he's a woman, born a man, think he's a woman. He hadn't even gotten the sex change yet. I mean, look, I am not in favor of. I think that transgender is a mental disorder. I know, everybody knows it, but people. I'm the only one who has the courage to say it is a mental disorder. I think men who think they're women are mentally ill. I don't hate them, but this guy hasn't even gotten the sex surgery. I mean, Blair White, Blair White looks more like a woman than most women. And that's a guy, that's a dude. Now it's a woman, but Jonathan Yaniv, who went to salons, still has his male parts, wanted a Brazilian wax. They said, we can't do it. You got the male parts, and he's suing them. This is the same guy who sends sexually explicit voice messages to little children. There's proof of it. His voice is very clear, and the police they not only are aware of the issue, they refuse to act on it. They've actually said, we're not going to do anything about it. We don't have enough proof. But anyhow, you protest on Yonge and Dundas Square. Anyhow, you wear your mask the wrong way. Anyhow, you as a reporter report on the fact that hotels across Canada are being turned into concentration camps, locking people up. Then the police will be there in 2 seconds to bully you, to destroy you, all this sort of stuff. They're not focused on the real crimes that are out there. Look at all of the kind of shootings in Toronto, illegal guns all over the place, and the police in Toronto do nothing about it. There's this great YouTube channel that I know called Predator Poachers Toronto. Their job is to hunt down and expose potential child predators, people who speak sexually to what they think are underage minors, and you never hear about the Toronto police, investigating these people and locking up these predators. But the moment they hear about some protest out there, which is our right, it's in the Constitution, the moment you break the China virus New World Order rules, the police, they are at you in 2 seconds. David Menzies of the Rebel, who I've worked with before, he doesn't even live in Toronto, But he was in Toronto doing a report on the Radisson Hotel down there. I actually know that Radisson Hotel. It's right there by the 401, I believe, if that's the hotel I'm talking about. On Markham? No, I don't know. But anyway, it's been turned into a concentration camp, that hotel. And David Menzies went there to report on it and how this could very well be wrong. And the police, I mean, this is a reporter, This is an essential service. This isn't, he's not even a protester, which, but he's a journalist. The police, they're threatening him, telling him, if you don't show ID, we'll arrest you and all this sort of stuff. And you know what they did? When he didn't show the ID, the Toronto police went to his house, and he doesn't even live in Toronto, but they invaded his precinct and gave him some sort of a peer court release or some kind of charge or something. First of all, I don't know why David opened the door. This is the thing, this is what you shouldn't just blindly worship police here. You have to know your rights, and you have to let them know that you will follow up on your rights. Anyhow, a police comes to my door without a warrant in his hands, just to try and bully me about me doing some reporting, I'll tell him, get your fat ass off my lawn, quick! So, you've got real crimes that are taking place in Canada. Police don't do a damn thing about it, but they are ready, 2 seconds, to go after someone who irritates the government when it comes to the China virus, New World Order. So I am saying it's time to defund them. In Canada, not around the world. In Canada, defund them. Especially the Toronto police. Defund them. Defund the hell out of them. Until they start going after real criminals. And until we have some sort of constitutional reform. I don't think the government should just be allowed to lock down an entire country when we don't have a say on that. I think in situations, I'm not saying that we have to have a say on everything. But situations where the government can force businesses to lock down and all this sort of stuff and people to have curfews and stuff, I think that should be decided ultimately by we the people. And we also decide whether or not it's going to be enforced. And we decide when it's going to end, and we decide how long it's going to be and when it's going to begin and all that sort of stuff. So until these constitutional reforms are met, I say defund them. Defund the police. If you want to you worried about your safety, buy a gun. Legally, buy a gun. Buy a gun to protect yourself. Buy a weapon. That's what they're there for, protection. I don't call police. I actually have a shirt that says, I don't call 911. It's very rare that I call 911. I just don't do it. I've had, there were times, there have been times when, there are situations where you call 911 and they don't take your case seriously. I mean, I'm sure many of you have dealt with this before too, where the police treat the victim like as if he's the bad one and the criminal like he's some sorry little thing, he's, oh, poor thing, he's, they're not doing their job. People, oh, they're doing their job. No, they're not. Arrest these predators. Arrest Jonathan Yaniv. Arrest these gun people. I mean, arrest Omar Carter. He killed 2 Americans. He's a murderer. He killed 2 American soldiers. Y'all gave him $10 million. Why the hell should these guys get any money now? I think defund them. Defund the police in Canada. Defund the hell out of them. Defund them. They become a joke. They become a menace to society. I feel more safe walking down some of the most dangerous streets on the east side of Toronto with $10 million in my hand than I do around police. That's just the case. I have seen predator videos where people who catch child predators have reported it to the police, and the police treat the predator catchers like they're the bad ones. So I think that they're not protecting the community. They've become a menace. They've become a complete and utter menace. So my stance is they should be defunded in this country until they start doing their job, until they start arresting the real bad guys, stop harassing us freedom fighters, because we're not going to give up. We're not afraid of the police. We're not afraid of them. Listen, I'm not afraid of a country that thinks that the Proud Boys are terrorists. That sounds like this country is run by a bunch of little girls, little teenage girls with chips on their shoulders and daddy issues. That's where this Canada is run by worse than little girls with chips on their shoulders and have daddies. Worse than that. These guys are even worse than that. Worse. You think the Proud Boys are terrorists? Why should I take a country like that seriously? I mean, you don't know what a terrorist is. You don't know what a terrorist is, Canada. You don't know a damn thing. You're just looking for attention. Shut up, Canada. I don't think any... I saw this clip on RT, this news article on Russia Today. Says, the China virus, COVID-19 is more dangerous than expected, a Canadian study says. When since we listen to anything Canada has to say? Countries should listen to a damn thing this country has to say. Don't listen to this country run by a bunch of immature little girls. That's an insult to little girls, actually. That's actually an insult. I've seen little girls more mature than the leaders who run this country. Run by a bunch of pussies is who we're run by. A bunch of pussies. Listen to Taki and Mac Dad, he's a pussy. Doug Ford is a pussy. They're all a bunch of pussies. We're run by a bunch of little wieners, little pussies. Bunch of little snowflakes is who we're run to. Why the hell should we be afraid of a bunch of little snowflakes? I ain't afraid of them. And I bet you this video is going to get me in trouble. Well, you know what? If this video gets me in trouble, get me in trouble. Come lock me up then. Come on and lock me up with your big business. Oh, so I made a video that hurt the country, that hurt the government's feelings. I made a video that hurt the Toronto police's feelings. I made a video which hurt the politicians' feelings. Well, then come lock me up then for hurting your feelings. Come on and lock me up. Come on. I got enough of this. I ain't afraid of a bunch of little babies. I ain't afraid of a bunch of little babies. People who hadn't grown up, who were overindulged by their mamas in the crib, you know, sitting around in their dirty diapers all day and night watching Teletubbies from the time they were 1 year old to 5 years old. Mama gave them everything they wanted, junk food every night, didn't have to do any chores, were spoiled, could talk to their mama any kind of way, didn't get no whoopings, nothing like that. And now they've grown up and they're a bunch of little babies, little pussies now, and they're running this country. And it's a shame before God. And it's a shame before humanity. I ain't afraid of them. You want to come lock me up? Come lock me. Come on. I made a bad video. You know, there was once a time when you'd be locked up for robbing a bank, shooting someone, you know, rape, being a predator. You know, money embezzlement, all these sort of stuff. Now you're being arrested for things like protesting, being a journalist, being too critical, too harsh. I heard that the police came after Ezra Levant of The Rebel for writing a book about Justin Ataki and Mac Daddy Trill. He called it The Liberanos, and the police are coming after him, harassing him. They should be defunded. You're going after him for writing a book that's critical about the Mac Daddy, but you don't want to go after a child predator like Jonathan Yaniv. Defund you. You're useless. You all are useless. You're useless, Toronto police. You're useless! And Vancouver police, Surrey police out there where Jonathan is, you all are even more useless. Defund you, yes. You're afraid of crime. Don't rely on the cops. Get a gun. I know it's hard to get one in Canada, but try. Try. Get something. Sticks, bottles, rocks, something. Don't rely on these useless people. They probably wouldn't even listen to you anyway. They'll say that you are being too harsh. They'll treat the victim like the criminal and the criminal like the victim. No, defund them. Defund them. That's what I gotta say. I ain't afraid of saying it. It's gotta be said. And this is the Arana Nation.